she's explaining herself out of guilt for something she's done but doesn't want to say, or she's still struggling for social acceptance here, which I think we already know is her normal behavior. And she's covertly scanning back and forth across the table for agreement or support from somebody else. And you can see her head even scanning the entire table. And the last half of this little clip, she's covering her throat right here. And this is a fear behavior. We're protecting arteries. We're protecting vital organs when we have fear. No idea what the poker stuff means.
There's definitely some self-soothing there that goes into the chest area, on the chain there, some mouth masking. I think there's a shoulder smooth there. There's a nose rub. There's a little bit of disgust as well. There's some self-soothing on the hand. I mean, there's a massive amount of behaviors there that suggest a lot of worry around what is happening right now. She shifts in the chair. She does an exit check as well, I believe. She goes for water, so she goes for resources. Again, a lot of stress in this situation here.
I totally agree with you. She's completely stressed here. She's adapting with her hands and her necklace and everything. She's going back and forth. You're right, Chase. She's covering her throat. That's getting that whole, that's fear at that point. And he's at this point still relaxed. You know, he's still displaying all that smooth moving around and laughing and being all giddy and stuff. He's talking freely. He's pretty excited about everything. And then after she shows her cards, she rubs her nose. Now, a lot of people are going to think that indicates deception, and that's someone who's being an absolutist. We know that's not true, that just because you rub your nose doesn't, just because you do anything specific doesn't mean it means that every time you see it. When people cross their arms, sometimes that means that they're closed off to what you have to say. Other times it means they're more comfortable. It can be cold in there. But just because she scratches her nose, it doesn't mean that she's being deceptive. She does it, I think, as an adapter because she feels the heat building at this point. His demeanor changes immediately when she throws those down. And he slows down. The smile goes away instantly, and he sort of freezes. And again, his eyes are going back and forth. They're running all over the place as he's trying to calculate what's happened, decide what's happened, because I don't think he can believe it at this point. And I don't think she can either, to be honest with you. Because she freezes and kind of grimaces. We see that at that point because she's like, oh no, is this right? Is this wrong? Whether she knew what card she had, if it was a 3 or 4, whatever it was, maybe she did mistake that. But I think she's thinking, oh no, I'm not sure exactly what's happened here. I think that's what jacks her stress up a lot as well. Then when she says, you look like you want to kill me, she adapts with her fingers in her rings. Again, which is normal for her at this point. That's where most of her adapting's been happening, a lot of it with her hands and her rings at this point, like Mark was talking about earlier. And then she moves back from the table, like you were saying, Mark. She takes a big, deep breath, and she's goofing around with that water bottle. And she's uncomfortable with his anger because she can feel it coming across the table. She's been messing with him, and now he's mad. And she's like, oh, no, now he really is mad. And I'm not sure she understands how to handle somebody doing that to her, especially a guy in this situation. I think she's the only girl at the table, or woman, at the table. So that's got to be uncomfortable for her in the first place. But to have one of them mad at you visibly, and it's palpable, and, you know, having all this confusion look on his face and all this, that's making her stress go through the roof as well. And even the Asian player, he's fidgeting around with his chips. I think everybody's a little bit nervous because they can feel the tension building in there. So I think for everybody in there, it's a little bit odd, but especially for her, and she's showing it.
He gets angry. Now, angry can come from more than one reason. It could be he feels cheated or humiliated. He might not even understand why. Look, I'm the big dog in the room, and you just came and usurped me like that. You could feel really, really awkward suddenly. Feelings are feelings. I said this to Scott earlier. I've been doing sword stuff for a long time, and I did like Taekwondo when I was young. And your best chance of getting hurt when you're fighting is not the experienced fighter, because they're not going to take a chance and open their neck for you to hit with a sword. It's the young guy who has no idea what he's doing and just goes, whoa, comes at you like crazy. Next thing you know, Mark, your point's a good one. They don't understand the calculated risk. I'm not saying she doesn't understand cards. She clearly understands cards. I think she's more into it, Scott, even than you're giving her credit for here. I think she knows that she's committed too much. And Mark, she may realize, hey, I got all my resource tied up. I'm going to lose everything. What the hell? And if I win, I win. Now, he had a better chance at winning in the beginning, but at the end, doesn't matter. She had the high card. And Chasey does what you're always describing as transderivational search. I go, I don't know where to look. Is the same thing. In his head is where he's going. He's not looking at people. He's looking around like, what the hell? How did that just happen? Is what he's doing. She then goes into lockdown. Like she's all comfortable, locked down like this. Watch her respiration increase and her blink rate go up. And she starts rubbing her right cheek with her thumb to adapt. Why? Well, there's all kinds of reasons that could be. If you've ever been in a meeting at work where two people blow up, you don't even have to be the people that blow up. You start looking for ways to comfort self and look for ways to appear to be normal when you're not. So think of that for a minute. Now, here's what creates all the suspicion about cheating with a vibrating ring in the entire show. See that red ring she's got on? She rotates, she's playing with it, and she turns away and rotates the ring away from her outside of her hand and back into her palm. That is the reason everybody is saying she cheated. They think that somebody was giving her a vibration signal simply to say, you have a better hand. That's all you'd have to know. So can we tell that by doing what we're doing? No, we can look and say, why is she doing this? It is interesting that when she turns back, she does a threat check from under the brow to this guy and makes good contact to figure out, am I in danger from this guy? Is that normal? Absolutely normal. Not saying she didn't cheat, not saying she did cheat at this point. But all of that we expect when there's a heated interchange that way. If he had just sat there and said, damn, you got me, we would have seen something entirely different.
If you liked this video, please head over to watch the full video on our main channel.